Welcome back to Feathers and Fur. So you find us slap bang in the middle of the COVID-19 lockdown, and for all of the awfulness of having the centre shut and not seeing anybody, there has been one little positive about it, and it's all the interactions that the wildlife is having with us because the world has quietened down. And probably my favourite has been the Tawny Owl. Now this is Ash. Ash is our little male Tawny Owl. He's 10 years old. We've had him at the centre his whole life. And for the first time in those 10 years, Ash has actually called himself in a mate. Now this is very unusual. Obviously Ash is not going to mate with her. They're never going to be a couple, but he hoots and hoots because that's his territory. The centre is his territory. And the local Tawny Owls have come in and listened to him, and one has chosen to stop and stay. She's sitting in the Leylandi, which is just behind you, and she has been there now for 2 weeks, and she quite often hoot back to Ash during the day. Now I managed to catch this hoot on video. Please forgive the filming, it's awful. I wasn't aiming to show it to anybody, but I just want you to listen for that very soft hoot at the end. I film Ash and then I show you that soft hoot at the end. Isn't it amazing? Just that little hoot. And I've been looking for her up in this tree. I've been looking and looking and looking, and for 2 weeks I haven't been able to find her until I did. And luckily I had my camera with me. Look how beautiful she is. Look how well camouflaged she is. She's totally hidden away in those branches, hidden away in those trees. And my favourite thing about her is the slightly different in colour that she is. She looks almost more gingery in the face than Ash does. Now very quickly, I want to teach you a few things about tawnies, because lots of people love things like that beautiful ghostly barn owl, and the tawny is often one that we just overlook. I don't know why, but it's, especially in conservation, we're very heavily weighted towards the barn owl, who's currently what's called a green listed species, so their numbers are fairly decent. They're green. RSPB considers them green listed, a least at risk bird. Tawny owls are amber listed. They're an at-risk species. Now the reasons for that is mostly down to things like lack of habitat, which is pretty much everybody's excuse, isn't it? Not excuse, but reason. These guys are deciduous woodland birds. They love that kind of big old oak tree, old ash tree hanging around, but they're doing quite well in adapting to people. These guys, you'll hear them around urban situations. You might hear them whilst standing out in your back garden if you've got little copse near you, little woods near you. Tawnies will quite happily come hunting in your garden if you've got a nice back garden. You could rewild your garden, which is a great excuse for not cutting the grass, which would encourage insects and then small mammals, which these guys would hunt. Tawny's diet is quite varied. Songbirds, they'll take frogs, mice, small rats, insects. These guys take quite a bit. Do you mind wrong, camera? You don't need to preen your tail. Excuse me. Thank you. When they hunt, that's mostly done at night time, which means they're almost impossible for us to see. We hear them, but we don't see them. And the nocturnal hunting is aided by two very cool adaptations. So he's got this beautiful, can you see it, facial dish. That is his ear. So the sound is funneled from this dish back to his ear hole on the side of his head. It's not as prominent as someone like the barn owl, but it's still absolutely awesome. And then he has these amazingly huge eyeballs. His world is viewed in black and white, doesn't see in colour at all, and he sees really well in those low level lights. Now just to give you a quick example of how good his vision is, I actually have some replica skulls. So this is the replica skull of a barn owl. You can see it's very elongated. Remember that barn owl is very heavily weighted towards audio hunting, so it's got quite small eyeballs. This is a Tawny Owl skull. Look at the size of those eyeballs in comparison to the barn owl. His head looks much bigger than the skull, and that's because it's all made up of feathers. It's got these huge downy feathers on him to help him fly quietly. So whilst he's flying through hunting, he doesn't make a sound, and he pounces down using his amazing sharp talons. Alright, so how can you help? How can you help the Tawny Owl? boxes, really important. Roost sites, places to go make your nests. We've been putting up lots of barn owl boxes, but very limited tawny owl boxes. So potentially, if you've got a lovely garden, you could look at purchasing a tawny owl box. In your garden, you could stop using things like slug pellets. These guys love a juicy slug, and if you've killed them all with slug pellets, nothing for him to eat, or he might even ingest those slug pellets. We could leave areas of wild grasslands so that encourage foods for these guys and for other birds like kestrels and barn owls. So there's a few things that we can do to help the tawny owl, but just even watching this video is always going to be a great help, learning about them. You can't love something and protect something unless you know about it. So even just taking the time to learn about them is fantastic. All right, now, you've heard a little bit of vocalization from Tawny. We've seen the picture of her hide in. I've got another thing to show you. This is amazing as well. So I have 2 tawny owls in captivity. Ash is a captive bred one, born in captivity. My second is a wild, non-returnable barn owl. So she was given to a rescue centre as a baby. She lived at this rescue centre all her life. She's a disabled owl, she can't be returned, she would never hunt, she wouldn't survive. She's actually got a very damaged eye and very damaged body. But unfortunately the gentleman passed away, and so therefore she had to be rehomed. And the daughter of this gentleman had been up to the centre before, and she felt that we were the place for this owl to go. It was a very much loved rescue member, this centre. And so Pudding, her name is, has come to live with us. She can't be on show at the centre because she is a wild owl, but am I allowed to show her to you? You can see how much paler she is. It's a picture of her, how much paler she is. And she actually lives over by our offices. So we have offices on site as well. And I have been staying over quite late, and I've been listening to the interaction between Pudding and the local wild ones. So it's not even, I mean, the length of the garden centre is apart, and Pudding has attracted a different tawny owl. This is how good this area is. This is how many tawny owls we've got in this area. So Ash is flirting with a young female up here, and I know they're different because the vocalizations are very, very different. The female here is much higher pitched. The one that's been flirting with Pudding is much lower pitched. And Olivia very kindly lent us her nighttime camera, and I got some pictures, I got some video. So enjoy. This is the wild tawny coming to visit Pudding. She's actually sitting on some fencing just outside Pudding's aviary, and he's looking at Pudding. Isn't it amazing? I love that camera, it's so awesome. Although we did many nights catch nothing, so I was so pleased that we got two sets of videos on there. Alright, now I'm going to let you go. I feel like I've talked your ears off. I'm going to leave you with probably the cutest thing possible, absolutely possible. Ash having a bath. What else is there to love in the day? Ash loves his water bowl, he loves getting in it, and he loves having a bath. So I'm going to leave you with him. Enjoy, stay safe, stay healthy. Obviously, as soon as we're able to open up safely from the government's recommendations, the centre will be open. Come on up and visit us. We're not asking for charitable donations at the moment. We're coping all right. However, we're not eligible for any of the grants, it would seem, and so if you do want to support us at all, it would be fantastic if you could purchase a gift voucher as an experience session. All our vouchers now have 18 months on them, so all the way up till next Christmas 2021, and you could give that to somebody and they could come along and fly once everything has calmed down, come and be outside in our beautiful flying field, hopefully on another glorious day like this. It's April, it's beautiful sunshine. But we would love that support, so purchase a voucher. You can buy owl experiences, half-day experiences, anything that comes along and gets you up close and personal with our birds. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. From Ash and I, we'll see you soon. Bye.